In 1902, a boy was born in Chicago who, by the age of 5, had already taught himself how to read. Fast forward, and this same boy would go on to create one of the most revolutionary therapeutic methods ever developed. What's even better? You can use this approach in your everyday life, and I'll show you how. I've used it myself, and it's transformed my ability to connect with others and communicate better. Let's dive in. The early 1900s saw the birth of an extraordinary mind, Carl Rogers. This guy was brilliant. He could read before most kids even knew the alphabet. Over the years, his interests shifted, but one thing that stayed was his passion for understanding people. He eventually found his calling in psychology, and that's where he made his mark. Early in his career, Rogers worked with children, and he noticed that what they needed most wasn't advice or solutions, but simply someone to truly listen to them. That realization led him to develop a groundbreaking approach called person-centered therapy. You've probably heard of active listening before, but I'm willing to bet it's not exactly what you think. Carl found that even by just listening to people in a specific way, he could have a profound impact on their mental well-being. So, before I show you how I've incorporated it into my life, let me share with you what happened when I put it to the test. One day I had a light bulb moment. Everyone loves talking about themselves, but so few people actually feel heard. What would happen if I became that rare person who truly listens? I started thinking about how most people speak without ever feeling like their words really land with someone. And that's a shame, because the need to be understood is one of the most basic human desires. When I started listening actively, truly being present in conversations, it was like flipping a switch. Suddenly, people felt understood, valued, and more open. And as a bonus, my conversations got a lot more interesting. Now let's talk results. Once I adopted Rogers' active listening approach, something fascinating happened. When people felt heard, they also became more confident and comfortable. It's like by simply listening, I gave them permission to express themselves more authentically. The conversations became deeper and more meaningful, and people were more willing to share their thoughts without holding back. What's more, they often came to realizations about their own lives that they wouldn't have discovered on their own. It was like watching people experience their own aha moments, and that's an incredibly powerful thing. So how do we know that active listening works? Well, Rogers' methods became revolutionary for a reason. His clients, simply by being truly heard, gained insights, started healing themselves, and felt more accepted. This practice is now widely used beyond therapy, in schools, businesses, communities, and everyday interactions. And here's the best part. Unlike quantum mechanics or chaos theory, active listening is something you can start doing right now, and it's easy to learn. So how did I personally start doing this? First, let me tell you that active listening is not the same as just sitting silently while someone talks. It requires being fully present. To truly master it, I had to learn some important tools. Not steps, not tips, but tools that help me connect on a deeper level. Here's something crucial I discovered. Every conversation has two parts, the content and the emotion behind it. Active listening means engaging with both. To start, I needed to avoid zoning out while someone was talking. I started paraphrasing and summarizing their words in a natural way. And honestly, it blew my mind how well it worked. Imagine someone says, I'm not sure they'd still like me if they really knew me. I'd respond with something like, sounds like you're worried they wouldn't accept the real you. Simple, right? But it made a massive difference. This kept us on the same page and prevented misunderstandings. But there's more. I realized I needed to encourage the person to keep talking, showing them I was genuinely interested. That's when I started using what are called minimal encouragers, small gestures or short phrases that show you're engaged. Things like nodding or saying, I see, kept the conversation flowing without me having to jump in with long responses. And let me tell you, people responded to this in the best way possible. Now here's where it gets even better. Words don't always capture the full picture of how someone feels. That's where empathy comes in. I started practicing something called emotion labeling, where I'd listen to someone for a bit and try to label what they were feeling. For example, if they seemed frustrated, I'd say something like, sounds like this situation is really stressing you out. Even if I got it wrong sometimes, the effort showed that I cared, and that alone made a huge difference. Here's the kicker. The simplest yet hardest part of active listening is actually wanting to understand people. You can't fake this. You've probably heard the quote, you can make more friends in 2 months by being interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get people interested in you. Well, it's 100% true. 100T. Genuine interest in others is the key to building meaningful connections. Once I embraced this mindset, I started noticing just how fascinating people really are. Every conversation felt like discovering a new world. And if you're curious to learn more about these techniques, feel free to check out some of my older videos. I'll be uploading more soon, so stick around for that.